My name is Chad Monroe, and this is my God story. I was first introduced to Jesus Christ when I was about 3 or 4 years old by my grandmother. She was a Sunday school teacher, and she introduced me to Jesus and would read to me. That was one of the greatest gifts that I ever received was the knowledge about Jesus, and it stuck with me. I think that was really important to my life. I didn't really realize how important that was till much later in my life. My life story is really 3 stories. It's God's story, His plan for me, my plan that I made for myself, and Lucifer's plan to destroy me. When I was only a few weeks old, my parents were divorced, and I went back and forth. My mother, I can only describe her as an outlaw. She was a child of the 60s, and there was a counterculture motto of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and she lived up to that. She made that her motto, and she took me to bars and biker gang parties, a lot of places that a child shouldn't be exposed to, a lot of elements that I shouldn't have been exposed to. It makes an impression. And those types of things just seem normal to me. At the same time, music was affecting me. It was rock and roll, heavy metal music. It went with the whole scene with drinking and drugs. From a very early age, I'm talking, I was probably in kindergarten. I had heavy metal posters and heavy metal albums, and that stayed with me for a long time. And it really shaped, my behavior. By the time I was in 7th grade, I was getting drunk, getting high, chasing girls. 7th grade. So I was really off track. I had a life-changing event happen when I was about 12. I was in a very bad car accident, and I almost died. My father realized maybe we ought to get to church, so we did, and we started attending, and I was baptized, and things kind of turned around for me for a while. We went for a while, and eventually we stopped going and we moved away. We moved to Jacksonville. I really wasn't living a life with God as a point in my life. I was basically living the life that I wanted to live. I was lost. I was in the wilderness. And I found myself on a beach. When I was 18. It was about 2 or 3 in the morning. I was alone, and I was at a crossroads in my life, and I didn't really know what to do. I was ready to leave home. Some plans that I had fell through, and I really didn't know what to do. So I was praying to God while I was walking down that beach. I was praying to God, asking Him what He wanted me to do with my life. What should I do? And I had prayed before. I really didn't expect an answer, but that night He did answer. It's hard to explain, and I've never really told anyone, but He told me 3 words. He said, "Spread the faith." I just did what anybody would probably do after hearing that. I just took off running down that beach, and I ran for 20 some odd years, I didn't think that I could be a preacher or a Bible salesman or a missionary. I didn't see that as my plan. And I just lived the life that I thought I should live. None of it really panned out for me. Had a failed marriage, failed relationships. I was lost again. 2 years ago, my girlfriend started coming here to Central Christian Church. She invited me to come. Started seeing people who were broken, whose souls were lost, that were being mended and healing. And I started to reflect on my own life and where I had gone wrong. And plus I had a lot of guilt about never really doing what God told me to do. And I really started to think about it. And that's when I realized, even though I didn't actively go out and do what God told me to do, He had been putting people in my path the whole time. And I never really thought about it, but in 1 month it happened about 6 or 7 times. People that were in distress or stranded, and I would just be in the right place, and it happened a lot, and it's been happening for a long time. And I can only give God the credit. He's putting these people in my way to show them maybe some hope. Maybe these people are broken and they need hope, and maybe I was able to give them that hope. I don't know, but a changed life can change lives. I'm Chad Monroe. That's my God story.